Hello, Siu. Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Uh,
So, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Siv Pandya, Operational Excellence Consultant and Trainer at GK Engineers. It is my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of our entire GK Engineers team for this exclusive webinar on 8D problem solving. So, before starting the webinar, let's take a moment to appreciate the great efforts to all Corona warriors for their steadfast humanism in this crisis. We would like to thank and honor all the policemen, doctors, nurses, health workers, and all other volunteers who are serving today and to those who have served in the past. With this, let us begin with our today's webinar on 8D methodology. So before starting, let me give you some brief about what will be the deliverables of today's webinar. The first one is what is problem, means we are going to see the primary three definitions about what is problem. Then what is problem solving, in which we are going to study the cycle of problem solving. Then some of the useful terminologies of problem solving technique, means what are the terminologies that are useful for us while we are moving towards the 8D methodology, which is problem solving technique. Then 8 disciplines of 8D methodology along with the useful formats and case study. So under every discipline, we will go by the case study and the sample formats. So before proceeding to our today's webinar, I would like to share some important notes for all the participants in this webinar. This webinar would be of around 40 to 45 minutes, and you can raise your questions and queries related to the topic. So my team members and colleagues will revert to you in chat box within small period of time. So starting with our first topic, that is what is problem. So it is need of an hour to understand about what is problem before moving forward to the problem solving technique. So here I have described the three primary definitions we can describe as a problem. The first one is a gap between actual and desired condition. Means what? Let us say, let us take an example. If we desire to achieve overall plant effectiveness about 85% and we are achieving 65% of overall plant effectiveness, means that is termed as a problem for us. Then second one is any deviation from the standard, means if any product or service we have a set standard of some parameter, whether it is related to quality or delivery or any other, and we observe some variation in that parameter from standard, so that it can be termed as a problem. And the last one is unfulfilled customer need, means what? Let us say we are unable to cope up with the delivery of product or quality of product or cost of the product as per the customer desire, so it can be termed as a problem. Now let us understand what is problem solving. So as we all can see in this cycle, here it is nothing but the act of defining a problem, then determining the cause of the problem, and based on that evaluating the alternatives of a solution, and last followed by the implementation of the solution. So we can call this cycle as a cycle for problem solving. So starting from defining phase, in which the activities of defining and describing the problem is being carried out as mentioned in the first phase of defining. Then in second phase, brainstorming activities carried out to evaluate the alternatives that may solve the problem. So in this second phase, we are going to brainstorm the alternatives to find out the solution for the problem. And based on the brainstormed alternative, we can evaluate and select the best possible solution for the problem. Then it is followed by the last and the fourth phase of implementation and testing of the chosen solution. Means whatever the solution we have implemented, we must have to validate that solution. So it closes the complete cycle of problem solving. Then, as we have discussed, we are going through the useful terminologies for problem solving technique. So it is nothing but the flow from identification of symptom to the complete evaluation of the solution. So starting from the symptom, we can say that symptom is an indicator. Means what? It indicates the existence of a problem. So let us say one person is feeling the dizziness. Means dizziness is symptom for the for that person, which indicates the problem in his body. Then it guides us to reach the problem. As we have discussed, problem is deviation from the standard. So taking example of same personal, the problem identified is high blood pressure, which is deviated from 120 to 160. Means the person is having 160 mm of Hg of high blood pressure. So we can say that symptom of dizziness felt by the personal was due to high blood pressure. So any cause that can be reason for occurrence of the problem. So that any causes which can be defined, which can be identified by the experienced doctor for the same example. So let us say doctor explained based on his experience that possible causes may be stress, bad food habits, and the poor sleep. That can be the possible causes of the high blood pressure. So from that possible causes, we need to identify the most likely causes. Means what? We have a past data of our routine, our food habit, as well as our sleeping hours and other data of related to stress. So we can identify the most likely causes from the possible cause. So means most likely cause means what? We are identifying the most probable causes based on the knowledge and experience as well as the past data available with us. Then root cause. What is root cause? The root cause is the core issue evaluated based on the YY analysis. Means we are using the YY analysis technique to identify the root cause of that problem. So root cause establishes directly the on-off relation with the problem. And finally, we derive the solution by eliminating the root cause with the help of corrective and preventive actions. Corrective actions means what? We are taking actions to avoid reoccurrence of that problem, and preventive actions means what? We are proactively taking actions to avoid its occurrence. So this is the basic difference between preventive actions and corrective actions, right? Then moving forward to introduction to 8 disciplines. So first, Ford Motor Company developed this problem solving methodology, then known as team oriented problem solving in 1980s. Means this has been developed by Ford Motor Company, and earlier it was known as team oriented problem solving method. Then the 8 discipline model is a problem solving approach typically employed by quality engineers or other professionals. Nowadays, it has been used in variety of organizations, including manufacturing sectors as well as service sector. So it can be implemented in any of the cases related to manufacturing as well as service sectors. Then the purpose of the 8D methodology is to identify, correct, and eliminate reoccurring problem, making it useful in product and process improvement. Means what? 8D methodology guide us throughout the improvement. Means throughout the our improvement or problem solving cycle, starting from identification of problem till the elimination of problem. So the ADD problem solving model establishes a permanent corrective actions based on statistical analysis of the problem and focus on the origin of the problem by determining its root cause. Means, as we have discussed, it is all about working on the problem starting from its identification till implementation of corrective measures. So now the question is when to apply 8 disciplines methodology. Here I have listed few of the situations. If you are facing one or more such situations, you can utilize 8D problem solving approach. As described over here, first one is safety or regulatory issues. Means if you are facing, let's say an example, increasing number of incident or accidents in your organization, you can go for the 8D methodology. Then high number of customer complaints. If you are facing high number of customer complaints, whether it is related to product or service or quality, you can go for the 8D methodology. Then if you are facing warranty concerns means what? If you are receiving high number of replacement or repairing request within your warranty period, if you are giving your customer a 1 year of warranty and you are receiving replacement and repair request within that 1 year of span, you must have to go for 8D methodology because it is problematic for your customer as well as your customer relationships. Then if you are facing a high number of internal rejections or waste or scrap, you can go for the 8D methodology. Then poor performance of any plant or equipment means in your organization, if you are realizing that your plant performance or your equipment performance is continuously decreasing, then you can go for the 8D methodology. Now let us start with the steps involved in 8 disciplines. Means what are the 8 steps which are involved in 8 disciplines? So as we all know, its name suggests that 8 disciplines, but it was later augmented by an initial planning stage. So before starting the 8 disciplines, we must have to go for D0 stage, which is planning stage. Then D1, use of team approach. In this stage, what we do, we are carrying out the activity of establishing the team for problem solving. Then define and describe the problem. So in this phase, problem is defined and described in most specific manner. Means we have to describe the problem in most specific manner so that all the team members can understand the problem definition easily. Then D3 phase of development of interim containment plan, implement and verify interim actions. So basically this phase emphasizes on taking temporary containment actions to isolate the problem from the customer. Then D4, determine, identify and verify the root cause. So in this phase, the entire team which we have activated works on the identification of root cause by utilizing various tools. We can say we can utilize tools such as Ishikawa diagram and 5Y analysis for this phase. Then identify permanent corrective actions for problem or non-conformity, and then implement and validate corrective actions. So D5 and D6 disciplines both respectively focuses on first of identification of permanent corrective actions and then implementation and validation of the same. So in D7, take preventive measures. So this discipline speaks about horizontal deployment of the implemented corrective action to prevent occurrence of the problem in similar process area. Then congratulate your team. So it is all about motivating the team and encouraging them for participating in more such problem solving project. So this is the overview of D0 to D8 phases or disciplines involved in 8D methodology. So moving forward to our first phase or discipline of D0, the planning stage. The following criteria should be applied prior to forming a team. First one, identify the customer and collect information on the symptoms of the problem. Means we have to identify the customers which are getting affected by the problem, then confirm using symptom data that a performance gap exists and the cause is unknown and it can't be resolved by one person. Means we have to first confirm from the collected data that there is a need of an hour to formulate a team to resolve this problem, because it cannot be resolved by an individual. If it can be resolved by an individual, there is no need to go for an 8D methodology. Then identify the need for an emergency response action which protect customer from further exposure to the undesired symptoms. To understand this, we have taken one example of Maruti Suzuki. So in May 2018, Maruti Suzuki called back 52,686 units manufactured between 1st December 2017 to 16th March 2018 of new Swift and Baleno to replace brake vacuum hose. So this is the emergency response actions which is taken by the Maruti Suzuki as a ERA. Now here we have taken one case study to understand practical approach to 8 disciplines. So we will discuss the same case study throughout the 8 disciplines. So starting from the discipline 0, the planning stage. In the case study presented, the coupling disk component was selected because the issue was live and occurred many times. There was maximum customer complaint about this coupling disk defect and there was demand of 80 for this part from the customer. So as we have discussed, we must have to collect data in the planning stage to make certain decisions. So here they have collected the data for customer complaint for identification of the major problem. So here it is illustrated in the form of data collection and analysis. So in this case study, they have used Pareto analysis for the selection of defect for which they were receiving highest number of complaints. So you can see that here Pareto analysis in which maximum number of complaints they were receiving for dowel pin hole diameter 13.2 undersize, which is 82.69%. So the ultimate aim of this step was to focus on the major issue. So let me give you some brief regarding Pareto analysis first. So it is one of the 7QC tool which is used to prioritize the collected data, means on which problem we have to focus first. The Pareto analysis will give us the idea. Now moving forward to discipline 1, the team approach. Activating a good team is important for any problem solving. Means for any problem solving, we must have to form one team. Then the team must be cross functional. Means whenever we are forming a team, it should contain members from various departments, such as we can have members from production, maintenance, quality, etc. The reason for selecting such team is stated in the third statement, which we can say due to a varied combination of knowledge, skill and experience, one can look at a problem from different views. Besides having an effective team leader, it is also advisable to decide on what is the roles and responsibility of each and every team member, so that any action we need to take, we can make it quick and effective. So we will take a look at the sample format of disciplines step by step under each discipline. So this is the sample format for first discipline of team approach. In this format, you can see you may incorporate details such as department, name, designation, team goals and objectives. Now, so continuing with the case study which we have selected at stage 0, by utilizing the Pareto analysis, we have determined that we have maximum number of complaints regarding the regarding a 13.2 mm dia undersize issue. So this is the team they have formulated as a part of discipline 1, in which you can notice that they have selected team members from various departments. You can see that here departments name as planning, sales and purchase, quality control, design. So we can get all the knowledge and we can utilize all the knowledge and skills of the various departmental employees. Now define and describe the problem. This is our discipline number 2, means we have to specify the problem as much as we can so that it becomes easy to understand. Means the 5W2H analysis is a welcome addition to the problem analysis and can help to arrive a clear description of the problem. Means by obtaining the answer for who, what, when, where, why, how many and how, we can clearly describe the problem statement. So we will see the same for the selected case study, which will make clear to all on how to describe the problem by using 5W and 2H technique. So here is one of the sample which we have taken for defining and describing the problem. So you can incorporate details such as part number, customer detail, then pictorial representation of your problem and description of your problem by using 5W and 2H methodology. So here you can see the discipline 2 activity of defining and describing the problem carried out in the case study which we have selected earlier. So let's understand 5W2H activity which is carried out by them. So here they have presented one picture of the problem. Here description of the problem is dowel pin hole diameter 13.2 mm undersize. So first one is who. Who means individual or customers associated with the problem. So here it is defined customers facing the problem, means who is facing the problem, then we can define customer is facing the problem. Then what, in what we give the problem statement. So description of the problem or problem statement which is given by the customer, that dowel pin hole diameter 13.2 mm undersize. Then why, means why this is why this concern has been raised, means uh, because of undersized diameter. So in this case study this concern has been raised because of undersized diameter. Then when gives the date and time problem was identified. So here it is mentioned that during inspection, here you can use the date as well as time for the when section. Then where the defect is observed. So at the customer end the defect has been observed. So how means how we can get to know to this problem, means received the complaints from the customer, then how much and how many. In such case we have here identified that 43 numbers of incident has been observed in customer complaints regarding the dowel pin hole diameter 13.2 mm undersize. Now moving forward to our discipline number 3, which is interim containment action. So it may be necessary to implement temporary fixes. It is about preventing a problem from getting worse until a permanent solution is implemented. So basically we can say that it is all about taking temporary containment actions to isolate the problem from spreading to the new customers. So this one is the basic sample format for discipline number 3 of interim containment action, which incorporates the details such as parts at various points, such as in plant, at supplier location or in transit, and responsibilities as well as result obtained from this containment activity. So continuing with the same case study, here we can see in discipline 3 of containment action, they have taken 3 actions as a part of this interim containment action, which is mentioned over here. First one, all the parts potentially affected by this problem were identified and their locations were pinpointed. Means they have identified the locations which we have already discussed in the previous slide of format. You can see here the parts at plant, parts at supplier, and parts in transit. So here they have identified all the locations where the parts is there. Then all the parts at customer side as well as at supplier side were put on hold. Means they all the parts put on hold in which they are facing the problem. Then lots already on the live were called back to the store and respective responsibilities has been given to the certain departments and evidence for the same has been collected. Now moving forward to the discipline number 4, identifying the root cause. So after we have implemented the interim containment action, we now have to work upon identification of permanent corrective action and implementation of the same. So for this step, we must have to start with the root cause analysis. So in the sample format section, we will understand how to construct the Ishikawa diagram, and based on that, how we can find out the root cause by using the 5 why analysis. So identifying the root cause is all about identification of possible root causes, and from that identifying the most likely causes based on the past data or experience or knowledge of the team members, and then applying the 5 why analysis on the same to identify the root cause analysis. So here is the sample format for discipline number 4, which is identification of root cause. So in this stage, a team brainstorms the probable causes by utilizing the Ishikawa diagram. Here you can see the Ishikawa diagram, in which on the right hand side we are stating the problem statement with horizontal arrow in it. Then 6 primary causes were plotted by visualizing it as man, measurement, material, machine, environment, and method. So from the possible causes, team reaches to the most likely causes. As we have discussed, we are going to identify the secondary causes for all the man, machine, measurement, material, environment, and method. It is termed as 6M because sometimes environment is called as mother nature. So 6M represents the man, measurement, material, machine, mother nature, and method. So to understand the more, we are continuing with the case study. As we can see, team used 4M approach over here. So out of the 6M, they have used 4 M's for identification of the probable causes, and from that identification of the root cause of the problem. So here you can see the around 7 types of probable causes that have been identified by the team, such as first one is change in hardness of workpiece of material, which is secondary cause of the primary cause material. Then rammer tool having less sharpness, which is falling under the machine category. Then in process inspection not followed by operator and less skill of operator are falling under the man category. So such type of data we can categorize by using the 6M methodology or 4M as per our convenience, and we can find out the probable causes. In this case study, they haven't described the root cause analysis, but one can obtain the root cause by using the 5 why analysis or YY analysis, and based on this root cause, team can work on the identification of the corrective actions. So discipline number 5, developing permanent corrective actions, means it is all about identification of the permanent corrective actions to work out on all the root causes. So from here, permanent corrective actions can be selected. It must be confirmed that the selected corrective action will not cause any undesirable effect. Means whatever the corrective actions we have selected, it must not create any undesirable side effect on our system. So team must have to prepare documents related to management of change to address any undesirable side effect. So you can see here in this format, for developing permanent corrective action, you can incorporate details such as action description, target date, effective date, responsibility, along with the corrective actions pictures. This same format we can utilize in the next discipline of discipline number 6, which is implementation and validation of the permanent corrective action. So this is the same format we are going to utilize in the next discipline, but in such case we will put here the results obtained after utilizing the format for next step of identification and validation. So in validation stage we are going to find out the results obtained, and the data we will put it here on the right side of the result column. And also it is mistake proofing or not, we can tick mark over here as yes or no, so we can understand that further we need to improve this system for make it POCA-OK or error proof or not. So continue with the same case study. As a part of discipline number 5, they have identified 4 number of corrective actions. They have here identified the 4 number of corrective actions, which is first one is use proper 13.2 mm drill tool instead of 13 mm drill tool for performing drilling operation. Then use proper go no go gauge for checking hole size during the dispatch. Then revise sampling inspection method, means they have revised their sampling frequency. Instead of 1, they have revised it to 5 samples per lot. Then maintain the tool history card. What corrective action they have identified? They have identified that there is a need of maintaining the tool history card. Now, as I have told you that discipline number 6 is implementation and validation of permanent corrective action. So as soon as the permanent corrective actions are identified, they can be implemented. Then also validate permanent corrective actions with the evidence of improvement. The long-term effect should be monitored. So here in this discipline, the focus is on validation of the implemented corrective actions. So for that validation, we must have to collect data for the longer period of time. Around 3 months, we can take the data to understand and evident its positive effect in the system. So as you can see here, the sample format for validation of implementing corrective actions, which includes process which is of implemented corrective actions, then target and effective dates, then responsibility and results obtained. As we have already discussed, this is same format as previous discipline, only we have to add details of the results obtained. So in past 3 months data, what results we have obtained after implementation of corrective action, that we have to describe or mention over here. So the case study which we have selected, you can see the results obtained in terms of difference between defect at the time of reporting and defects after completion of the step 6. You can see it is 43 at the time of reporting, and after completion of step 6, what they have observed? They have observed 0 defects. And also it has been mentioned in the case study that the data they have collected was for last 3 months. Now moving forward to our step number 7, preventive measures. So preventive measures ensure that the possibility of occurrence is minimized. So what I have discussed with you, that if we are taking the preventive measures, means we are horizontally deploying the same corrective action to the similar areas. As we say, prevention is better than the cure. This is why additional measures need to be taken to prevent similar problems. So it is advisable to review management systems, operating systems, and procedures so that they can be improved based on identified preventive measures as per requirement. So as we have discussed that we are horizontally deploying the corrective actions which we have taken for one problem into the similar areas. So we must have to change or modify our standard procedures, and for that we must have to change and modify our SOP documents, control sheets, our standard procedures, as well as operator instructions, or we can say our maintenance schedule also we can modify. So here is one of the format for preventive measures as a part of discipline number 7, in which you can incorporate documents such as FMEA, which is failure mode and effect analysis. Means if you are taking some preventive measures, then your severity, occurrence and detection values may get changed, or on the basis of that your risk priority number may get changed, and so you have to update your FMEA sheet, then control plan, maintenance schedule, and tick mark all the details in which you have made the change. So also you can state the preventive actions which you have taken in the comment section. You can see here below in the comment section you can write down the preventive actions which you have taken. So moving to the case study of the same, in which they have taken two preventive measures in discipline 7. The first one is dowel pin is prepared for in process inspection. Then also they have assigned the responsibility for the same. Then second one, they have prepared a toolbox for the placing the different diameter drill bits to avoid human error. Means they have prepared the toolbox for various diameter drill bits so that by mistake some workers do not take other diameter drill bit. So here is the result obtained in the case study. After taking the permanent corrective and preventive actions, 0 defects were observed in next 3 consecutive lots for the issue of dowel pin hole diameter. Means as we have discussed, they have taken 3 consecutive lots data. As we have discussed, we must have to collect data for the longer period of time to validate its result for continuation of the same. So the total rejection reduces from 37.95% to 6.57%, and rejection level for the issue of dowel pin hole diameter reduces to the 0%. Now the final step is to congratulate your team for their best efforts by award and reward policy. So we can say that it is all about appreciating the efforts of your team, for motivating them and encouraging them to take part in such problem solving projects in future. So let us revise all the 8 steps which we have discussed in 8 disciplines. So starting from D0, which is planning phase, in which we are planning and collecting the data for the problem. Then in D1 phase, which is use of team approach, in this stage activity of establishing the team for problem solving is carried out. Then in D2 phase, which is define and describe the problem. So in this phase you must have to describe the problem very specific manner so that all persons can understand about the problem. Then our D3 was of uh, developing the interim containment actions. So this phase basically emphasize on taking temporary containment actions to isolate the problem from reaching to the customer. Then in D4 activity, we are determining and identifying the root cause of the problem by using Ishikawa diagram as well as 5 why analysis. So Ishikawa diagram, 5 why analysis are the useful tools, which are one of the 7 QC tools which are useful in identification of probable root causes and reaching to the root cause by using the 5 why analysis. Then identification of permanent corrective action. So based on what we have identified in root cause analysis, we must have to take preventive and corrective actions on it. So identifying the preventive and corrective actions is our D5 phase. Then in D6 phase, we are implementing and validating the corrective actions. Then in D7 phase, we take preventive measures, means whatever the preventive and corrective actions which we have identified, we must have to deploy it horizontally for the similar areas. Means in similar areas, we can take the corrective measures which can be termed as a preventive measures for that area. Then last one was to congratulating our team. So the last step of congratulating the team was very important in discipline, which is rewarding and awarding the team for their great efforts in problem solving. So thank you very much all participants for joining this session. Hope it was informative and fruitful for every participants. So here you can see our training, coaching and consulting services such as 5S, a systematic workplace management, then total productive maintenance. We are giving services for total productive maintenance in terms of training and coaching and consulting. If you need our help in any such cases, you can contact us. You can take a screenshot of this display. We are also providing services for total quality management, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma methodology, inventory management, problem solving and process improvement projects, annual business planning, work study in which we are providing the services for time and motion study, supply chain management. If you want to hire us for process gap audit, we can also help out with process gap audit in your system with respect to the operational excellence terms, then management information system and any other services related to industrial engineering as well as operational excellence. So if you do need our help in any of the domain of operational excellence for training, coaching and consulting, you can contact us by using the contact details as displayed over here. You can take a screenshot of the same. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Stay safe and stay healthy. So if you have any questions and queries related to the topics as well as our services for training and coaching and consulting, you can drop your message in chat box as well as you can get in touch with us with the contact details provided over here. So with this, we are ending our session. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.